What's up guys? In today's video, I'm going to do something a little bit different than most of my videos. In today's video, I'm going to walk you guys through how I create YouTube videos. That's right, this is basically me a video about a video. Because in today's video, I'm going to walk you through my whole process for creating my next video, which is going to be an install video for this Dark Matter X shifter. This is going to be the part 2 of a 2-part series for this Dark Matter X shifter, where I'm actually going to install this shifter into my 1998 RS. In today's video, I'm going to walk you through the whole process where I write down an outline for this video and I actually think about storyboarding out all the different phases or all different segments of this video. And then I kind of walk through all the camera angles to tie it all together. So like I said, today's gonna be something a little bit different. It's gonna be a deep dive into how I create these YouTube videos. Thanks a lot for joining me on this video, guys. I really appreciate it. My name's Luke, and you guys are watching the SubaruONLY channel. Okay, so where do I start? Now I know there's all kinds of YouTubers out there that have all kinds of success doing all kinds of video and creating all kinds of content. And I know there's a lot of different ways to do this, but my process is pretty straightforward and I'm going to walk you guys through it in this video. Basically, I like to create every video that has some kind of purpose or some kind of point where I'm going to install a part or I'm going to walk you guys through a concept. So every video I create has a focused theme, and I like to create a video that has a start, a middle, which is kind of the main body of the video, and then a conclusion or an ending. So that's basically my general approach to all my videos. Have a focused concept or theme or task you're going to achieve in that video, and then break it up into 3 separate sections: the beginning, the middle, and the end. And for me, it all starts with writing it down on a little notepad. In my little notepad, I like to break it down into that beginning, middle, and end section, and then start filling out exactly what I want to talk about and what I want to cover for each one of those sections on that notepad first. That way I can sit down and really think about it, make sure I cover all the points I want to cover in the video, and I can kind of rearrange things and get a better idea of how all the concepts or how all the different segments will flow in that video to give it a kind of nice beginning, middle, and end to wrap up that whole video. So I'm going to go ahead and do that right now with this notepad. Okay, after taking a few minutes to jog down some ideas, I think I got my beginning, my middle, and my end, and I'm gonna walk you guys through this rough draft right now. So basically for my beginning, I'm gonna have my intro to the shifter install, which means for every video, I always like to give people an overview of exactly what they're gonna see in that video. And that's where I like to start every video. So I'll start the video by saying, I'm gonna be installing this shifter in this video today. And that'll give people a good idea of what they can expect to see in this video. And because this video is part 2 of a 2-part install series, I'll also wanna talk about what I did in part 1 of this install series. So I'll do a quick little 1 or 2 sentence overview of what I did in part 1 of this install series. And then I'll circle back to the main topic of this video and then transition to my title screen or my branding or your channel logo screen. So that's going to be your intro section or your beginning segment of your video. And usually that needs to be pretty short. It seems like most audiences on YouTube like to get a pretty quick snapshot within like 60 seconds or 120 seconds, get a quick snapshot of what the video is going to be, and then you can transition to that title or that channel logo screen. And from there, we'll dive into the main section or the middle section of that video. Okay, for the middle section of this video, I'm going to talk about the dark matter components that came with the kit. And I'm going to pre-assemble all the components that I'm going to use for this 1998 RS. And then after I've pre-assembled all the dark matter components, I'm going to go ahead and open up the packaging on these OEM components, because I actually had to buy several OEM components. And I'll discuss the part numbers, I'll actually throw up the part numbers in the video, and I'll go ahead and pre-assemble all these OEM parts to that dark matter shifter assembly next. At that point, you have the shifter completely assembled and ready to install in the car. But remember, you definitely don't want to have everything tight. You want to have all these bolts and all the nuts loose so that when you install the shifter, you have a little bit of wiggle room and a little bit of play to line everything up exactly where the bolt holes are on your chassis. So then I'll head over to my 98 RS and I'll start installing this shifter. And because I've actually written this down on paper and I'm thinking about my outline beforehand, I can actually think about how I'm going to install this shifter in the car beforehand too. And what I think is going to make the most sense as far as the sequence of steps for reinstalling the shifter assembly is actually going to be installing this little joint to that shifter input rod first, because this little joint is going to have that little roll pin. So I think installing that roll pin will be the very first thing I want to install in this whole assembly. And then once you get that roll pin installed, I'll go ahead and move over to the main shifter assembly and start loosely snugging down the bolts in the back, and I'll move over to the front half of the shifter and start loosely installing the bolts for the front half of the shifter. And I'll do all that from underneath the vehicle. Then I'll transition into the cabin and I'll start snugging down all the hardware and all the bolts that go from the cabin side of the vehicle. And then after I have that shifter completely installed, before I tighten down any of the hardware, any of the bolts or nuts, I'm gonna go ahead and test that shifter and make sure it engages all the gears of the transmission. After I've verified that the shifter engages all the gears of the transmission correctly, then I'm going to snug everything down and tighten it down to the manufacturer's specs, which, I'll be honest, I'm going to check with dark matter, but I can basically tell from the grade of the bolt and from the diameter and depth of the bolt how much torque I should apply. So I'll kind of walk you guys through my estimation when I install these parts at that point in the video. And then one more time, after I've locked everything down and tightened everything and snugged it down, I want to check that shifter again while the car is still jacked up in the air and make sure it engages all the gears correctly in that transmission. And for this video, I'm going to keep this video focused on the installation of this Dark Matter X shifter. So I'm going to wrap this video up at that point, and I'm going to come back into the shop and I'm going to discuss all the lessons learned from this install series. Because I think that's always a great way to start wrapping up a video, is talk about all the things that I learned in creating the video and all the challenges that you guys out there might face if you guys try to install one of these shifters in one of your Subarus. And then I'll wrap up the video by sharing some contact information with you guys, my website with you guys, and then say thanks a lot for checking out the video, and I'll see you next time. Now, as I walked through that whole process, I was also thinking about all my different camera angles. That's a big thing you want to think about. You want to think about all the different camera angles that you can actually set up for each one of these scenes for this install. And another thing that's really good to think about is if you can get the camera angle to be similar for the beginning and the end, and it kind of creates a nice little way to bring the viewer back to the beginning of the video and wrap that whole thing up in a real nice, conclusive way. Alright guys, and that is basically my process for creating these YouTube videos. And of course there's some post-processing stuff like editing and sound and things like that, but for this video, I just wanted to walk you through kind of the storyboarding process of creating a video, and maybe it'll help you guys create some videos for yourself. Thanks a lot for checking out the video, guys. I really appreciate it. If you have any questions or any comments, please go ahead and leave them in the comment section. I definitely read all of them, and I'll try to get back to you guys as soon as I can. If you guys need any maintenance information for your Subarus, make sure you check out my SubaruONLY.com website. I got all kinds of factory service manuals for all the cars from the 90s to the 2020s, and I got additional factory technical reference guides that you can download for free as well. And if you think these Dark Matter X shifters look cool and you want to get a little bit more information about the shifters, head over to the darkmatterx.com website where you can see all different kinds of color options for the main shaft and the different applications that they offer these shifters for. Alright guys, thanks a lot for checking out the video. My name's Luke, you guys are watching the SubaruONLY channel, and until next time guys, later!